Thank you, and thank you, witnesses, for coming in and coming in again. Fiona, you're obviously from the legal side of this. Can you just give me a step-to-step breakdown of the process here? When somebody comes to you, what happens? How many people would you have assisted over the years? The legal costs around the service? Just a step-to-step breakdown of the process, please, if you don't mind. Can you do that? We'll go as we start. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
in relation to people going abroad for surrogacy?
Yes, in relation to people going abroad for surrogacy.
Step to step, if somebody arrives at my door and says they want advice, the first thing I have to do is to ascertain whether there's going to be a biological link between the male intending parent, or at least one male intending parent, and the child that's going to be born. I've got to ascertain whether that male is an Irish citizen, because so that he can get the child back to Ireland. So they're the first two considerations that we have. Generally, when people come to me, they've done their own homework and they've decided where it is that they're going to go. And their primary interest is to find out how they can establish a relationship when they come back to Ireland. And one of the most difficult things always when I'm talking to a couple like that is, whether it's a same-sex couple or not, is that I have to turn to the second intending parent and say, I'm very sorry, there's absolutely nothing I can do for you at the moment, and I can only give advice to the intended biological male parent. So I go through the process for them when they come back to Ireland. I'm an Irish lawyer, I can only advise them on the process here. My advice always to people going abroad is that they firstly need to take independent legal advice where they're going. And as we're dealing with same-sex couples in this particular sitting of the committee, I will just concentrate on same-sex couples. So invariably, most men will go to America or Canada. Generally there's an agency that they deal with, and then they go through the whole process of a donor agreement, a carrier agreement.
Would you have access to those agreements?
They often do show them to me, but I can't advise them on them because they're governed by the law of the country where they're based. But I have seen them absolutely over the years. But it isn't part of my function to judge those because they're not governed by Irish law. And certainly, I suppose, when I started dealing with this first, I might have had, I mightn't have looked at them to the same extent as I perhaps currently look at them. And one of the things that I did notice about the agreements is that when the baby was born, the agreement came to an end. So, I mean, I've always said that it's very important that the surrogate would understand that her involvement doesn't just purely end when the baby is born, but that also her involvement is required for the legal process back in Ireland, so that before they even enter into the agreement, that's all been taken care of, and that she does realise that she's going to be a party to the legal proceedings here, and that her cooperation or her objection, whatever, but that she does have a right in relation to the legal proceedings in Ireland.
Okay. I suppose for me, surrogacy primarily focus on the needs of the adults rather than the rights and needs of the child. And I think you put it eloquently later on in what happens when the relationship breaks down. What is your view on step-parent adoption as a process, as a route to parentage in some international international surrogacy cases? Is that a better way?
A better way than what?
A better way than what we are proposing. Rather than having the surrogate mother, I mean, here they don't want to have the surrogate mother on the birth cert. They prefer not to have the surrogate mother on the birth cert, and I would prefer to have the surrogate mother on the birth cert. But there's a will here not to have the surrogate mother named on the birth cert here. So I'm asking, would a step-parent adoption be a route to parentage in some international surrogacy cases.
Sorry, if you don't mind, just so that I can clarify this.
It's provided already in the Adoption Act.
Yeah, no, I have no issue. So, sorry, I presume what you're suggesting is that if the step-parent, if the birth mother is named on the birth certificate and then there's a step-parent adoption, that then a new birth certificate would issue, so that the first one was always there by way of a record.
Absolutely.
Yes,
yeah.
so I just wanted to make sure
Yes.
that I understood
Yes.
what you were saying. I don't have a difficulty with that, and I think it is probably a way of guaranteeing that the position of the second parent is more secure. And
while also protecting the true identity.
Identity. It's interesting because in a lot of states, and I mean, I'll say that cautiously, but in America, it is possible to have the birth mother named on the birth certificate, and then possible for a subsequent birth certificate to issue after all the court process has been done. So that is a possibility at the moment, and it does happen. And often male couples are very happy to have that, to have the birth mother named on the birth certificate. And in fact what often happens is that the birth mother is named, the biological or genetic father is named, and then there is the step-parent adoption. And that would be very common in the States for same-sex couples, and I've acted for a lot of US-based people, and that's exactly what they would do. So, and I think it is a very satisfactory method.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Spanish High Court case in April? The one in relation to the Mexican lady, the Mexican surrogate.
I'm not.
No, okay, that's all right.
I'm not, okay. I'm afraid. I believe the judgment is in Spanish.
Yeah, the court did declare that adoption was the better option for protecting the best interests of the child. So that's basically the questions that I have. I'm all right for now, and I